Greetings, Poke fans. Welcome back to Poke Relaxing. Today we've got kind of an unplanned video. I actually had something else I was going to make for content today, but it has become clear to me that I'm the last person on Earth to get Mega Evolutions from my distributor. Street date on this, I believe, is the 26th, which is like, I think, Friday. But the only two, hobby, well, not the only two, actually, two of the, I think, three hobby stores in my area have this available today, which is Monday, September 22nd. I'm pretty sure on the boxes, which I have somewhere, but I don't want to go look, it would say not to be released before September 26th, but I think what happens is, I've noticed that with pretty much every new set, like, there's always people that have these, way earlier than everybody else. I think, if you're, really friendly with a distributor or with a rep at a distributor, and you have like a huge channel like PokeRev, you can get your stuff like the day that your distributor gets it, which is probably a day, a few days probably before, it gets sent out to retail channels, since they have to, box it up and stuff like that. So, and I know occasionally actually Pokemon Company sends out product to YouTube, channels who do content like PokeRev. I think they did that for Destined Rivals. They had it like 3 weeks or a month before it came out. But in this case, the local hobby shops that I think have this, way before everybody else are ones that get the pre-release kits that, are what they use to do the pre-release nights, where you sign up in advance, and you come and you get a build and battle box, and then everybody, can play with the new cards against each other. So I think what I imagine is happening is that distributors who need to send those pre-release kits to the LGS, like the brick and mortar stores, they just send everything to them at once if they have it, so that they don't have to do two shipments. So one of the nice things about having brick and mortar. But I don't know. I have to say, I don't think I've normally seen it out like so far in advance of when it's supposed to be, like when the street date is. So I'm not sure if they just stopped kind of caring, or if they, I don't know if they changed rules on that or what. But I will not have my product in hand probably until the day before release day, the 26th, if I'm lucky. But probably won't even have it until release day. So okay, so these are the enhanced booster boxes, which have a little promo, and I love this freaking card so much. It's also a card in the set, I believe, just like that one from Journey Together, the Reshiram. And so there will be lots of these going around for sure, but I love Bulbasaur, and I think it's amazing that he got this IR as the promo. Actually, I sort of wish it wasn't the promo, because it's not going to have much value that way. And the one in the boxes without the stamp might be worth more. That I think is the case for the Reshiram in Journey Together. How much of this am I going to open? I don't know. I might open half a box, but I might not. We'll see. It's exciting. This is exciting, folks. The first Mega Evolution I've ever laid hands on. Never mind, opened. So there have been videos, all over YouTube of people opening this stuff. So this is nothing new. I've tried not to watch too many of those. Not that it's like a secret what the cards look like, because of course we've had them for months from the Japanese end of things. But I don't know. I like to have as much surprise as possible. So the code cards are a little different. Now they have a green border. I think there's other colors, but I can't remember exactly. So there's a code for y'all. And the back's a little bit different too. Pokemon Live. Kind of amazing they still do Pokemon Live, but there definitely are people that play it, and I hear lots of complaints about bugs and stuff in the game. But obviously every time they've said it, they have code cards that come out for it, so it's alive and maybe not so well, but it's alive. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what I'm seeing out in the wild here for pricing. So again, two main hobby shops in my area. There's also a third one that gets like a tiny bit of Pokemon, but not much. It's mostly like a tabletop gaming store. And apologies, my voice is a little bit raspy today, but I'm doing my best. So yeah, two hobby shops, and just cut right to the chase. The booster box price at one of them was $199.99, and the booster box price at the other one was $239.99. Online, these are pre-ordering, I think, for like $260, something like that. Maybe a touch more. I haven't looked recently. Goldingo. So there's a little bit of a difference. I imagine the one that's cheaper will sell out more quickly. We got our first IR. It's a Snover. Very cool. And Alakazam reverse. So that's kind of the price difference. Interestingly, the shop that has the higher price, the $239.99, was the shop that I was able to pre-order some of, and what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the pre-order price of those was $179.99. So that was, a good deal in hindsight. The other thing is, I mentioned this in my video I did a few days ago about, kind of things going on with relation to the Lunatone. That's kind of a cool one. But I did a video on sort of thoughts about the launch of Mega Evolution, and one of the things I mentioned was something that I had heard and that I have, had confirmed about my distributor, which is that the ETBs are delayed, at least in some cases. I don't know if that's every ETB. So when I went to go pick up my pre-order, I had ordered booster boxes and a couple of ETBs, and I was not sure if they were going to have the ETBs, and sure enough, they did have them, but the other place that had the cheaper booster boxes did not have any ETBs. Wow, that's cool. So this is not, the good Mega Lucario. It's just the EX, kind of base EX one. But I was noticing, I want to take this back out because I was noticing like that these things look really cool in hand, because the red here, the camera doesn't do it justice, but it's a very bright and shiny foily red, and the whole thing is like, sparkly, and it's textured. A lot of EXs, base EXs are textured, but with the foil coloring and the really vibrant red and blue, this thing really pops. It almost makes you think like it's a big hit. I'm sure it's, right now, because there's like very few of these for sale, because most of this product is not out in the wild yet. I'm sure this is probably like a $10 or $15 card, but eventually it'll be like $2 or $1, I think. But I don't know. They're definitely stepping up their game on the base EX cards in terms of design. So I don't know if that will result in higher prices or what. So ETBs, yeah, I guess are coming through at least some of the distributors. I think my distributor is sending the first wave ones because I got, the sort of the invoice for my distributor pre-release, and I'm pretty sure the ETBs were on there. So I should be getting ETBs, but I guess this one other shop did not get them, or maybe they were just out of them. I guess I didn't really ask. I just noticed they weren't on the shelf, so I figured they did not have them. So that's kind of an interesting little wrinkle. I think what I remember seeing with the one shop where I got my pre-orders that had the higher price on booster boxes right now is they sent out, or they post on their Facebook page when they get new products, and when they did a post about Mega Evolution saying, it was going to be ready for pickup, the pre-orders would be ready for pickup on Monday, they said also that if you didn't, I think if you didn't pre-order, there were no ETBs they were going to be able to sell you. So I think they probably got, a lower number of them than compared to the other items that they did have for sale, above and beyond the pre-orders. So folks, if you have, LGSs out there, I live in a pretty small part of the world. It's the biggest city in North Dakota, but it's still in North Dakota, so it's very small by most standards. If you have LGSs around you, check out their Facebook pages, see if they put pricing. I've noticed that a lot of times with prior releases, the hobby shops in my area do not put the price on there, and I know why that is, because they want sort of the ability to change pricing on the fly and say, okay, come in, and then the pricing they see, on the shelf. That's a cool card. Is there any S? That must be like one of the ancient Pokemon, because that looks kind of like, actually this one, well, Dialga I know is, but look how it looks like Dialga and Arceus and those other ancient Pokemon. So, you want to check all the LGSs in your area. If they have a Facebook page, check that out, see if they put pricing on there. If they don't put that on there, maybe you could call them, or if you don't mind stopping out, stop out. But I think there's going to be a kind of a variety of different pricing models for LGSs. And, well, another Dialga. It was the same one. I think that, wow, were they both like reverse hollows? Okay, one is a regular hollow, one is a reverse. Anyways, yeah, so I think there'll be deals out there, and like $199.99 is obviously a real good deal on a box that's selling for like $260 right now. I think that the boxes, again, as I mentioned in my prior video, I think they will dip from wherever they are the day before release day. But how long that dip is and how far that dip goes remains to be seen. It might not really get much lower than like 230 or so, and then start to rebound as the easy kind of inventory goes away. People who want to sell at just the best price they can get on release day will be gone, and then people who have some interest in holding on. So very cool base EX hits here, and one full art, or one IR. So far, I think we're about a quarter of the way through the booster box. But yeah, I don't know, just shop around, guys. And so again, if you can get them for $190 and like $200, and MSRP is $160, and yes, I know, before Surging Sparks, booster boxes that were brand new were not selling for MSRP. They were selling for like $100 in hobby shops. So, that's awesome. That is, I think it's a little bit too hopeful to want a return to $100 box pricing. I mean, we may get there eventually, but it could be a couple years. Could be a year, could be half a year, who knows. But, you know, $40 over MSRP strikes me as not completely insane. And actually MSRP is like 172, I think, right now, because it went up when Mega Evolution came out. They usually raise MSRP every, new era, as they did with Sword and Shield, as they did with Scarlet and Violet, and as now they're doing with Mega Evolution. So, if you wanna rip a box of this stuff, $200 or $40 over MSRP isn't too crazy. I saw this video today that Nostalgianomics did, and he was making the case that it's actually a pretty good time to be like a collector of cards, because even though, ooh, that's cool. So that's a full art Mega Kangaskhan. So we're getting tons of megas, which is what you want out of a mega set. A little off center, but a very cool card. So his point was that collecting is actually better now. Like ripping packs to get cards inside is a better proposition now than it was in the days of $100 booster boxes, because back then, the top hit in a set was like, $40, maybe $50. And now the top cards, generally always there's going to be one that's at least like $250. Oftentimes there's one that's over $300, and sometimes there's ones that's like there's multiple cards in a set worth over $300. So, set values are much higher these days. And, the price that you pay for a pack is obviously higher as well, but I don't know if you ran the numbers, if it would actually be more, if it would actually be more, sort of expected value in a box of this stuff at $200 versus in, if we go back to like when Twilight Masquerade came out, you could get a box of that for $100. What was the EV of that set, or of a box opened in that set, and is it higher now? Ooh, we got something. Nope, man, these are just so cool looking, guys. These just old-fashioned base EX. I mean, the purple on this and the pink, just super vibrant, bright colors, like different than what you would see on a base EX in every other Pokemon set. So, I don't know if I buy into that philosophy. I mean, that's a question. Funny, like many things, that is a question for which there is a numerical answer. And I don't know, maybe Nostalgianomics did some of that math, and I just wasn't paying attention. But I don't think he did. But you can do that math. You can go and see. I think there should be a way to see, what the value, the total value of all the cards in a set was at some past time frame, and then figure out the expected value of a 36-pack booster box, and then ratio that to the price of the booster box at the time, and then do the same thing for this one, and see which is the better kind of value for people who open those boxes. I mean, you could do that. It'd be very relatively simple if you can just find some historical data on set values. So, I don't know, maybe somebody will do that. I'm a little too lazy to do that, but I don't know, I could be convinced. If 5 of my 43 subscribers said you should do that type of analysis, Poke Relaxing, I would probably do it. I'm definitely, inclined to follow the requests of my 43 subscribers so I can get to 50. So, My next video will be about the handful of cards that I picked up at the card show that I was at this past weekend. So stay tuned for that. Got some cool things. And I'll tell you kind of... okay, so we got a double rare there. Rare Candy. Making a comeback here. I prefer not to get an item trainer card, but still a hit. So yeah, I'll also be doing a video showing you what I got, talking about kind of what I observed in that card show in terms of, customer sort of trends and discussions I had with different people, some of the attendees and some of the dealers, stuff like that. So I think that'll be an interesting one. And, if you don't go to shows much, or if you do go to shows, but you kind of want to know what they're like in the frozen tundra of North Dakota where I live, as compared to, larger cities where you may live, or other small cities where you may live, but that are far from the frozen tundra. I think that'll be a good discussion, so I look forward to sharing that with you, and, getting your guys' feedback in the comments after that. By the way, the next video, I'll choose the winner of the booster bundle. By the way, I've noticed that a lot of times when YouTube channels do giveaways, they I don't know, they do like 20 videos before they give it away, and they mention the thing they're giving away every time. But I don't like to do that. I like to just kind of maybe do 1 or 2 videos between giveaways. Maybe I'll change my view on that eventually after I've given away half my fortune. But for now, that's what I plan to do. Sorry, I got a text message I was reading. Just going through Mega Genghis Khan. I feel like this may have some value, especially now, because it is a full art Mega. This may have some value too, because I know that like the Reshiram that was from Journey Together was a pretty nice pull back in the Journey Together days. But these base EXs, I think, again, will have some heightened value right now. In fact, an interesting experiment would be like trying to sell these right away, which I always think I should do, but I never do. Will I do it now? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. This one might be one of the more valuable EX cards in here, just because I know Mega Lucario is a very popular, card in here. Mega from the set, who I don't think has had a Mega card before. So I think just a lot of people will be interested in having all of the Mega Lucario cards in here, even though it won't be the most valuable one, or even like a particularly valuable one. Maybe I'll be wrong, but... And this one, who knows? I've never heard of Snover, so probably not particularly valuable illustration rare, but very cool cards. I'm pretty happy with this half a box. I'll let the other half go to my kids when they're done with their school tonight. And in the meantime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14 hits from a box. If we get 7 more in the other half, that's really good. That's quite good. I mean, 12 is sort of, I think, average to sort of low. 13 is pretty solid, and 14 is I think above average for most booster boxes. Now, will every box get 14? I don't know. Will we even get 14? I don't know that, but this was a really good half a box, I think, to get the Bulbasaur and to get the full art Mega Genghis Khan, and then an IR on top of that, as well as a pretty solid EX Mega. So that's what we got for today, folks. Oh man, I wish you guys the best of luck finding the stuff out in the wild, getting it at your LGS. My target, stocks every week on the same day. It's like Wednesday every day. Although I think actually last week they did Tuesday, and I only knew that because a friend of mine was out there and mentioned that they had Pokemon cards, since he's a collector as well. But hopefully this stuff will be somewhat attainable. I mean, you think you're going to have to get there on stocking day, but I think if your target is like my target and you can only get like 2 of each item and a total of 5 total, or like my Best Buy, which is they only let you buy 1 item, which is sort of absurd if all they have is like sleep boosters, but whatever, it is what it is. You know, it does keep stuff around longer. Maybe they'll have stuff for a day and a half instead of a day because, you know, of that very tight limit. And hopefully, you know, between that and checking on LGSs, you guys will be able to find some stuff out there. I'll certainly be wishing everybody the best, and we'll be doing some giveaways of Mega Evolution as well. So, in fact, let's see, I don't have anything in front of me, but let me just say, for anybody who is around long enough to hear this, I will do a 3-pack blister of Mega Evolution to a random commenter in this video if you are subscribed. So subscribe if you're not already, leave a comment in this video, and I will pick a random commenter to send off a 3-pack blister of Mega Evolution too. So and then again, next video we'll pick the winner of the Surging Sparks. So all right, folks, have a good one. See y'all then. Bye now.